Welcome to Sunday Springboard with Melanie and Kimberlyn Coaching, where we help women recover from and flourish after stress and trauma. My refrigerator died this week. I know in the scheme of things it's not that big a deal, but it actually let me work through some of the things I've been talking about on Sundays. So I'm going to walk you through it and explain to you how I use some of these concepts. So first of all, I noticed that there's something going on in the freezer. I noticed frost. And so first I'm in a little bit of denial. How can this be? My refrigerator is only a couple years old. Surely I just left the door open a little bit. Surely there's nothing wrong. But then I decided to watch it to see. And as I started to realize, no, there's something wrong with my freezer. So I've come to awareness. I'm coming to accept that there's something wrong, but I'm actually triggered. I'm very upset. I'm angry. I can feel this in my body. My brain is starting to be totally focused in on this. I'm irritated. I can feel it on the outside of my arms. And so I'm getting ready to go walk the dogs. So that's a good thing. I walk the dogs. I can kind of calm myself with some breathing and start thinking about, okay, what do I do here? I've got myself a little bit regulated, but now what do I have to do to keep going with this? So I want to eliminate the stressful situation. Hang on, let me share this with you all really quickly. Okay, now I think I can see it. So I need to eliminate my stressful situation. So one of the things I need to do is I need to take the food, put it in the other refrigerator. Thankfully, I had another refrigerator to put it into. And then to decrease my reaction to the stress, how can I think differently about this? Because remember, it's not necessarily the stress, the situation that is being stressful, it's our reaction to the situation. So I start to think, okay, I've got to call the appliance people, the morning people, have them come out and do an appointment. And then I start thinking, in the scheme of things, how important is this? When I think of other people in the world that are having a lot bigger difficulties, mine is basically irritating and inconvenient, but it's not terrible. So like I said, my situation was kind of small, but these steps work for whatever situation you're in. Now, it may take you longer to work through them than it took me for this fairly simple situation, but the steps still work. So as we're talking about decreasing our reaction to stress, we have been talking about core disciplines. These are concepts that when you use these in your life, when you apply them in your life, they help you live more powerfully, less stressed out, helps you have a better perspective toward life. So we talked about becoming aware of the world around you, aware of your own self. When you're regulated, where am I feeling this in my body? That's a real important thing. Next, acceptance. Have to accept what is reality. If I keep running on my denial, then I can't take the steps to fix the situation where possible or to change my thinking, which is the next thought, conscious choice. I choose to change my thinking. And as I'm able to do that, then that reduces my feeling of being stressed out. So today, our last day of conscious choice, we're going to talk about thinking holographically. As we're making decisions, as we're making choices, there are several methods that we normally use to make decisions. We're going to talk about what is holographic thinking, and I'm going to give you some tips for making long-term decisions. Decision making is very unique to all of us. We do it different ways. Some people go out and do all kind of research. I'm going to go to the internet. I'm going to do consumer reports. I'm going to go to different news. I'm going to look at experts. I'm going to talk to a bunch of different people. Some people don't get all that input. Maybe they just talk to one person. Maybe they just think in their own selves, what do I want to do about this? How does this feel to me? Some people make decisions quickly on the spur of the moment. Other people take a while to make those decisions. It could be hours or days or weeks, depending upon the decision. But we all do it differently. We all have a tendency to do it a certain way. Three of the major methods that we normally use to make a decision is we can use logic, we use emotion, or we use intuition. And you probably have one of those ways that you fall back on that is your default for generally the way you make a decision. So if you're looking at things through a logical way of thinking, you're going to analyze the facts. You're going to be kind of scientific. What does the research say? This is where you're going to go out and you're going to do your internet searching and looking. You're going to think about, does this make sense? How will this look? What will this actually be like? So this is very analytical, linear, and logical. If you're looking at it from emotions, it's more like from your heart. How do I feel about this? How is this going to make me feel? How is this going to affect the people around me? How are they going to feel about this? What would I enjoy the most? What is going to make me the happiest? So we're mainly choosing emotions, and these are from the inside. If you use intuition, you're just kind of using your instincts, trusting your gut. You may not have a real reason that you can cite to say, this is why I'm making this decision. You're just kind of thinking, how do my inner senses feel? This feels right to me. This feels wrong to me. It's just more of an inner thing, and you're just trusting your gut. So let's look at an example of what this looks like. So in our story, we've got this young gymnast, and she's gotten the opportunity to train with this famous Olympic coach. She's going to be living and training in a facility far away from where she lives. She'll live there, she'll eat there, she'll go to school there. Now, if she's looking at this through logic as she tries to make the decision of whether she wants to go or not, she's going to be saying things like, wow, this is a great opportunity. This guy is one of the top coaches in the nation. I'll progress so much faster. This is a chance of a lifetime. But if she's thinking from emotion, she'll be thinking things like, oh, I'm so excited about this. And she also might be thinking, oh, I might miss my home, my friends. Don't really know the coach that well. I've heard he's kind of tough, kind of mean. And so she's got all her emotions going there. If she looks at it from intuition, she'll be just saying, something just doesn't sit right about this. Or she might be thinking, yeah, this just feels like the right thing to do. What we're talking about today is holographic thinking. When we think holographically, we're going to use all three methods at the same time: logically, emotionally, and intuitively. Now, this concept was created by Bruce D. Snyder and is taught in the curriculum of the Institute for Professional Excellence in Coaching, or IPEC, which is the school that I trained under. They allow us to teach their concepts, but we need to give them the credit for it. So in holographic thinking, we're merging all three methods together. When we do that, we're able to make a more informed decision that is more powerful because we're using all the different inputs and then all the different reasoning. So in holographic thinking, you're seeing multiple perspectives at once. If you think about a photograph, you've just got the 2D, like a camera sees it. But then if you've got a hologram is created from mirrors, and it lets you have a 3D effect. Or think about music. You've got your mono, you've got your stereo, and then you've got your surround sound. So we're seeing all the perspectives at once. When you're thinking holographically, first of all, emotion and intuition are internal. These come from within. Logic, if you're using that way, you're also involving the external sources. So when you're thinking holographically, you're combining them all, and there isn't a separation between internal or external because you're just applying all the different thoughts and methods, and all of your input, your information goes together to help you make the decision. So we can use emotion and logic to understand and learn from the past. We can use our emotion and our intuition to predict the future. And we can get all the information from all the different sources that we want. As I said before, our internet, our friends, the experts, our own feelings, our own thoughts, our own intuition. All of these things can play together to help us make the decisions. Now, if you're trying to think holographically, here are some sample questions to ask yourself. How much sense does it make? How do I think it will work? How will I practically get this done? How enjoyable or fun will it be? How will it affect me? How will it affect others? Will this will this feel good or bad? What do my inner senses say? What does my gut say? All of these questions together, when you put them together, they will help you make a decision. I'm going to give you 4 examples of ways to make long-term decisions. These are not the only ways. These are just some that you can use with holographic thinking. So number 1 is make a list of the pros and the cons of each choice. And what you got to be careful here with is sometimes the choice might have 5 pros and 1 con, but the pros are all little and the con is really big. So something that could be helpful here is to weight your pros and cons. How important are these? Maybe do a scale of 1 to 10 or a scale of 1 to 5 of how important each one of these is. And when you weight them, then you can look at those pros and cons holographically using your logic, your emotion, and your intuition. So number 2, the second one is take your options and go down the road in your mind. Imagine, if I take option 1, what's it going to look like 6 months down the road? Imagine it. Be specific. What are you going to look like? What are you going to feel like? What's the world going to look like around you? What are you going to be doing? Option 2, what is it going to look like 6 months down the road? How would I feel? How would I, what would I be doing? How will things look? Number 3 is think about your values. Now, here's a caveat. You may not even know what your main values are. I actually have a really great values assessment on my website, KimberlyCoaching.com. Look on the resources tab and you can just give me your email there, join my subscription list, and then you can download a values assessment. This is also something I use individually with you if we were to do one-on-one coaching together to help you decide what are your values. So take your values. What are your main values? On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is that value to you? And then take each option and see which value is being honored here. So let's say you've got an opportunity to move out of town to get a new job. So what value is this honoring? It's honoring your value of maybe career advancement, of making a good living. Maybe it's not valuing your family and friends because your family and friends are going to be sad that you're leaving or things like that. So on your options, pick and decide which values are being honored with each decision. So like if you stay home, maybe family and friends are being honored, but then your desire to be challenged and to grow in your career are not being honored. So pick which ones and see which value is most important to you. The 4th one, this one is kind of using your intuition. You center yourself. You just ask yourself the question that you want to make the choice about. You just sit there, just think about it, and see what your intuitive response is. I would probably think that if to do this holographically, you would have first gotten all your information and you would have thought through all the things that you need to think about emotionally and logically. Now for the intuitive part, you're just going to sit here and think about it and see what comes to you. Now, here's another caveat. You have to be objective here. If you already are kind of leaning toward one decision or the other, what you come up with here is going to be the one you already kind of want. That's okay. But that means you've actually already made the decision before you did this. So if you're wanting to do this actually and to use your intuition in this way, you've got to be objective about what you want. So just as a recap of what we did today, we talked about the methods that we use. Holographic thinking merges them all together, and then I gave you some tips for making long-term decisions. Now, if those tips are not enough, if you went through those and you still are having trouble making decisions, I know some more ways. If you have missed any of the videos that we've done lately, you can go to my website, KimberlyCoaching.com. On the Springboard tab, all the videos are listed and you can catch up and you can watch all of the videos. If you need help making decisions, or if you need some help in whatever way you think that you could use some coaching, to help you move past the stress of whatever is going on in your life. I would love to talk to you to see if we would resonate. At the bottom of the show notes, there's a link. You can click it. You can schedule your free complimentary session, and we can visit. Meanwhile, I hope you have a great week, and think holographically, you all. Bye.